What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Sorry we got a little bit of a later episode of the Snapchat on this Monday, but we got a lot to talk about as Sersi hits the game tomorrow. A new chaotic 5-cost card. Is she tameable or is she great? We're going to break her down alongside all the 5-cost cards, ranking them from best to worst in a rapid-fire segment. And then we're going to talk about the future of Marvel Snap. We've got the road ahead map from the IGN Live presentation, and Alex and I are going to give our opinions on everything there, as well as just all the roadmaps that we've had so far. And we're going to talk about that all today, more on this episode of the Snapchat. And as always, I'm joined by the one and only Mr. Alex Coccia, coming at you later on a Monday, just coming hot off the press from Dekkster's wedding. I am obliterated. I don't know why I'm stuffy. I'm still getting over, man, just celebrating the man himself, man. It was an absolute wild time.
Buddy, it looks like you've been celebrating pretty damn hard. The amount of grape juice you must have consumed looks excessive.
It was a little bit of grape juice, a little bit of clear liquids. There was a lot. I drank like an Asgardian, my man. I thought I was like Thor over here for like another and throwing it down. Man, absolute beautiful wedding. Tremendous bride, beautiful Dekkster, hot as ever. Man, it was crazy. You know, I've done Conquer. I've done, events for tens of thousands of people. Reverencing a wedding, officiating a wedding was probably one of the hardest things I've done too, because of how special it is. And I don't know if I realized how much stuff you have to make sure you say as well, and the pacing, and you want the tears to go, you want the comedy to fly. It was hard, but apparently I did good. That is what I have been told back in my reviews. And I hope it went well. But man, beautiful wedding. Beautiful.
I mean, the key thing about it is whether it's the order of which you consume your beverages. Did you consume the beverages prior to your officiant, or did you do it afterwards? I think that's really important.
I went through this whole thing about the wedding, and you're like, yeah. But the order of the beverages. I obviously did everything before the actual ceremony, clearly, so I would have the courage to get up there and, you know what? I was proud of myself. I had one sip of a Heineken, and I was like, you know what? Probably not a great idea. I'm gonna stick to team water. But then the second that bad boy was done, as like one of the groomsmen said, shadow clock, and I was like, oh God, I'm gonna die. But I have to say, it's a special sight to see a Dekkster dancing on a dance floor. My favorite thing, if you guys don't know, I try to do it in like Conquerors and stuff too. My favorite thing in the world is making Dekkster uncomfortable. I love it. And so I would like, get on the dance, come on out here, and just watching. What do you think he dances like? You think he does like the side to side shuffle? What do you think?
I feel like he would just kind of stand there and just kind of like bop around. Like he doesn't want to be there, so he just do this.
Yeah, it was pretty close. It's like on Hitch, you know, that scene where he's like trying to teach that guy how to dance a little bit. It's a little bit of that. A little bit of it was a lot of white boy dancing. It was, but it was a great time, man. My wife came up, which was really cool, and I don't know, man. There's just something really special about weddings, but especially weddings about people you're close to, care about a lot. Love Dekkster, and love the bride Lils, and it was awesome. I maybe my first and last. Maybe the 18-wheeler business won't happen. I don't know. We'll have to see, Alex. See if Snap works out, and we'll go from there. But yeah, guys, pardon my voice. Everything's obliterated. And we're gonna do our best to get through, because we have a lot. We actually have like a stacked episode today, which is just amazing timing. We're pumped about it. Might be a little bit less punch-in and zoom-ins, but we're here. We're ready to go. Alex, what are you talking about on your side of the Snapchat?
Cozy, on our side of the Snapchat, we'll be congratulating Dekkster on his marriage, but also we'll be discussing Gilgamesh and Thena, the review. We've had them for a week, and we're also going to be discussing the top tips towards climbing to Infinite. I know people are trying to do their climb right now with the season refresh. We're going to give you guys our 10 tips, and then we're going to be talking about the Snapchat mailbag.
Oh, man. All right. We got a lot to go. Got a lot to talk about, break down. We had the roadmap come out. That'll be the end of it, because I'm sure we've got a lot there, a lot to say. We're going to do our rapid fire segment. I'm thrilled for that. And then Sersi. And let's go and start there. We'll come back, talk about some of the shenanigans from the weekend maybe. But Sersi, my friend, it could be the Sage of last season, where we ranked her kind of lower, and we've come back, and we might have different opinions. We'll have to see. She is a 5-cost 7 power card coming out tomorrow, guys, and on reveal. She's going to transform your other cards at the location on your side into a card that costs 1 more, if able. And definitely a very unique ability coming to Marvel Snap, and definitely feels like a 5-cost ability at that. Sersi, we gave her, I want to say, I think I gave her a 3. You gave her a 2, I want to say, last week.
According to my notes, you gave Sersi a 3, and I gave her a 3 as well.
Okay, we had double 3s. Does your stance change on the 3? Because I think mine has.
Mine hasn't.
Okay.
This is one of those cards I think that's really hard to kind of to rank in a vacuum. We often say that, but this is kind of weird, right? Because that random effect can really be potentially problematic. I think that most of the cards that really excel in Marvel Snap tend to have some sort of consistency to them. The idea of what you're going to get from them. Sersi's the complete opposite. However, I wonder if this card's coming out at the right time from a meta standpoint, considering how much junk we're seeing out there.
Yeah, so I gave her a 3. I'm going to bump it up to I think a 4, man. I think a 4 with hyper potential beyond that. Because I feel like the chaoticness reminds me a bit of Legion. I know Legion is locations, completely different. But the state in which you play her in the game is so late that the randomness, I think, has just a different effect, right? So you could be way chaotic and go into a 3-lane, go nuts. Or you can be more calculated and respond to junk, or respond to maybe just a lane that you lost, an X-Mansion. It's like you have no hope here, right? I feel like this card has the chance to be one of the better ones in Marvel Snap. It could flop. It could be too chaotic. It's all about it. I have it right there. Is she tameable chaos? That's what it's going to be about. But I feel like the more I looked into this, in the original notes that I had on her, when I gave her that 3 cost, I'm like, you know what? I think she could be the card of the month. I'm not sure. It's all about when you play her, how it's going to work out. We're going to dive into some of the synergies here and how she works overall. And I'll go ahead and kick it off to you first. Like, where do you see Sersi? We talked about her a bit last week and things that we liked about her, where we're going to see her best fit. What is kind of the first place that you're like, hey, if Sersi's going to work, it's going to be right here?
I feel like the first place I want to play her in is like an Annihilus-based shell. The reason for this is because you have Hood, you have the Void from Sentry, and the key thing is like now you have 2 5-costed cards in both Sersi and in Annihilus that you can use to actually kind of create some advantage for yourself. For instance, let's say you don't draw into Annihilus and you have your Void sitting there. You can Sersi that Void, turn it into a 5-cost card, which is not going to be a -8, right? Let's be honest, right? Conversely, the nice thing about both these cards is that they're both 5 costs, which means that the demon that you have from the Hood can be used in conjunction with either of these 2 cards on turn 6 if you've happened to hold it that entire time, right? So I do think that there's going to be some natural synergy there. It's like, oh, I can Annihilus them all, or I can play Sersi and flip them to like a positive state, which I think is pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I honestly feel like she is going to work in obviously that junk decks for and against. Mid-range decks, this might be one of the best cards for that. Like even something like High Evo, right? Like where you're getting the use out of your cards until later on the turns. High Evo notorious for something like Leech. Okay, now we have a 5-cost card that does the same thing, kind of does something to alter the game a bit, and then you go into the final turns of the Power Slam, right? Obviously like Surfer, even though you have Brood and that awesome interaction of all the 3s going all to 4s, last minute ditch effort to have a potential huge lane or 3 Atumas as we joked about. Surfer, obviously not going to work. You want the 3-cost cards. We're not going to love that. I feel like, though, she could just be a great card to work in a lot of just mid-range decks where you're trying to get yourself some nice power. Maybe you do a lot in the beginning, and then you have a late game that does not matter as much, and you can really take advantage there. I'm curious, though. I'm probably going to give a shot to a couple of decks, and obviously, I think the first one might be Sarah. I feel like Sarah could be a very unique and cool build. We're going to talk about Gilgamesh on your side, but the potential of her on turn 6 is much better than her carry weight, I feel, is awesome there. And what's cool is, with Sarah, you're playing cheap cards to begin with, whether they're 2 or 3-cost cards, and then your only big cards are probably Sersi and Sarah, right? You play Sarah down on 5, awesome. You could play down Sersi for 4, maybe play 2 other cards down. You have 1 lane. You can turn Sarah into a 6-cost, You look at all the 6 costs, only about 2 of them really bite you. A couple of them are obviously lackluster. Love the idea of that. Love the idea of changing a couple 2 costs to 3 costs that only cost 1 cost. I know there's a lot coming at you guys and the audio listeners. But I love the idea about discounting down and then you ramp up to great potential. And that's where I could see some really cool synergy here.
That's cool. Like when you describe it like that, I sit here and I'm like, yeah, like I can see that happening. Like I can see like that high roll Sarah into like, oh man, look at that Sarah turning into like Red Hulk, right? And then I'm like, wait a minute. Then I'm like, would you snap on that? Would you snap on holding Sersi on turn 6 and you're like, oh, I can turn my Sarah into something, and they snap and you snap and you're like, okay, we're going 8 here. Do you have the confidence?
Yeah, it all depends on like what the new age of Sarah is, right? Like I feel like we have so many strong 2s that you'll know if you're winning the game at this point, right? Like with 2s and 3s, you're gonna know with certainty, not maybe with certainty, but you're gonna be able to look at your hand a bit more and be like, okay, do I have a really good shot to win here, and or does Sersi well push me over the edge, or not? And it's gonna happen. There are gonna be games, we talked about it last time. Where is it? The infamous card. There it is. This guy's gonna come up and it's gonna be fantastic, and you're probably gonna get bitten for it. I just feel like though that's kind of like the big case scenario. I would probably snap if it's looking good. If it's like a Hail Mary play, no, you don't want to snap on a Hail Mary, kind of ever, right? And that's kind of what is cool about Sersi. I think you're gonna be comfortably in the lead a lot of the time, and you could play her and feel pretty good about it, and maybe not do risky plays. Or you do have that Hail Mary. Maybe your opponent didn't snap. They don't feel great either, and you're like, I'm staying. This 6 cost could easily be an infinite and put me over the edge to get the win there. That's what I like about her. She's got a little bit of everything in the toolkit.
Like there's randomness in Marvel Snap. There always is. And sometimes there's like good randomness and bad randomness. And I came up with kind of 2 examples here. So Cozy, there's 2 cards in Marvel Snap that both utilize randomness. Not quite the same as Sersi, but you can compare the Nico style randomness to something like the Valentina style of randomness, right? And it's like, okay, one is clearly better than the other. Where does Sersi fall in this? I don't think Sersi is going to be as good as Nico is. And I think she probably is going to be closer to where Valentina is.
No, I get that. I do. I think first it's tough. Both those are so low cost cards, right? So the commitment for Sersi is that much higher. There's too many base core synergies like Nico, where I like her more like Nico. I feel like Valentina's a very independent card, doing her own thing, and she's kind of dictating other game plans, whereas like Sersi's doing her thing. I like her as a Blink Nico mix a bit. A great example to this. What is Blink's favorite card, Alex?
Oh, it's Jubilee.
Yes. How is Jubilee not a fantastic card with Sersi as well? You have a 4 that is guaranteed to go to a 5, which I think arguably a 4 to a 5 is by far the best jump. That's going to be your, if you look at 5 costs across the board, like there's not a ton that are just going to bite you. You've got the Iron Man, you got Legion, you've just got good statted cards, maybe like a Doc Ock. I love that idea. And then Jubilee can bring down literally anything else and you're happy about it, at that point. Or if Jubilee just brings down Sersi, it changes everything in the lane anyway. There are going to be those key synergies that are going to work in packages like Blink did. And I underestimated Blink, and that's why I don't want to underestimate Sersi because of those few synergies that we're going to continue to talk about. Where it's not as much as like Sersi in this one deck is going to change it. It's like Sersi with these cards can be put into a lot of different packages.
Talk you out of it, but like at the same time, it's like Blink is way more consistent. Like you can look at your deck track, you're like, oh, I'm pulling my Red Hulk or my Doctor Doom, and Sersi's like, I'm gonna ? And you play it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's gonna be something, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely different than Blink, but it's also affecting more than one card, which is also really cool as well. It's gonna be so interesting on how we utilize her offensively, or like again, that guy pulled down a Jubilee of his own and he has an infinite, and you're like, oh man, I already had 3 cards committed here. Like, what do I do? Do I retreat or do I play the Sersi? Rewinding a second, do we think it is 4 to 5 that's going to be the best here, where you could do something like a Shang-Chi or tech cards and then you play it into a Sersi, or you play a Sherry down, double the Sersi, chains the Sherry out for a 5? I feel like a lot of the 4 cost cards have that potential over maybe 2 to 3, 1 to 2, 5 to 6.
I feel like there's a bunch of 6 costs that can probably disappoint. Like if you kind of roll a 5er into a 6, but at 5, like they're pretty good. And like from my understanding, Hobgoblin will proc the on reveal.
Yep.
Iron Man's great. Like I actually don't. Kang is whatever. Kang's gonna be buffed eventually.
I don't know if Kang will be in it because he's not involved in like X Mansion and
Random
stuff. So,
generation.
yeah. So I don't know if he'll be in there. Taskmaster would be a 7, right? Yeah, Taskmaster would be a 7. X, we already know him. We'll talk about him. White Tiger, Blue Marvel, Darkhawk. Tell me any of these that you're mad about, right? Devil Dinosaur Valkyrie most likely is maybe okay. Black Panther maybe a little disappointing, but not bad. Claw, Sarah. Oh, here it is. But even, yeah, this is it.
They
This
might
is
be
it.
good though.
I don't know. This could, if you're going into turn 6 and you just pulled the Atom, you're not like, yeah, it's over.
Yeah, Adam Warlock's probably not a cheer, but still, yeah.
Leech, Ronin, Annihilus is whatever. You're just getting these 6-cost cards. Lady Deathstrike could actually be, well, at that point that you're changing everything up, so it's not likely you're going to have a lot of low power cards. I mean, I could keep going, man. Namora, Nimrod,
They're all
Black
pretty
Bolt,
good. All the
they're all
flies are
good.
pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So that is probably the tier that I like the most, which RIP to Zabu, because that would have been, the way to really get this done. Heck, maybe it could still be in a way because he's an on reveal. Maybe this, I don't want to be crazy copium, but maybe Zabu finds his way into a Sersi deck. But moral of it is, yes, this card could definitely be way too chaotic, just like we thought Nika would be, just like we thought Legion would be, and to a fair point, Valentina, right? But I think the potential for the upper side is greater than her failing.
I've been thinking about her a lot in the sense that, like, I wonder if they're holding out on, like, okay, one of the key things I think pisses people off right now is the Professor X Cannonball style gameplay, that, like, junk and lockdown. It's really uninteractive, right?
Yeah.
Are they kind of waiting for Sersi to see if maybe Sersi can counteract that a bit? Because if you think about it, like, it'll flip Widow's Kiss to your advantage, right? It's going to flip Rocks to your advantage. I think there's a chance that it kind of creates a situation where, like, it should still transform the cards despite being locked down, I believe, because they're still just physically there. So if they have initiative and they play Professor X and you play Sersi to that same location, it's my understanding that Sersi will still transform those cards. You know what I mean?
Yes, because it's transformed. Like, I believe X stops Brood, let's say, because he's, like, adding those cards. But because this is transforming, I do agree. I think it's going to actually, like, a location can transform from a Reality Stone, right? Even if it's played after, it can still transform into that location. If it were to add, Raptors, that won't happen. But if it's Nidavellir, it's going to give the +5. So I do agree. I think, Sersi is a bit of a protection against the junk meta. I think there's no question about that. I think it's one of the better cards to help you turn the rocks into 2 costs and whatnot from there. Outside of that, what I don't want to do with Sersi is try to pigeonhole things like Gilgamesh. We're trying to make work in decks, and you're like, ultimately, it's like, yeah, but does he need to be in those? So when I look at cards like White Tiger, and I'm like, man, that's a really cool synergy. I'm going to be curious if we can make that work in a deck where she's going to want to benefit off that. And we'll have to see. Maybe a Namor base build. It's going to be a lot of testing with her. Do you got some other synergies on deck right away, man, with Sersi as we are about to move on?
Yeah, I wanted to mention, like, you bring up White Tiger, and I think that's a really good example for another talking point for Sersi, is that a lot of these cards that have low power have high effect power. Like a Jubilee, it's 4/1, but you don't play Jubilee for that 1 power. You play it for the effect. And so that Sersi flips that small power level into a potential higher roll. White Tiger is the same. You can flip a Mysterio clone, right? Which is pretty cool. Mr. Negative. I mean, I don't know if you'd play Sersi in a Mr. Negative deck, but I'm just saying that in theory, you could flip Mr. Negative into a 5-costed card that's not -1. And then, like, something like Shauna, right? You play Shauna, you actually get 2 cards into Shauna's location. You get 1/1 drop at each. So then you follow up that with Sersi, you're flipping Shauna and the 1 drop that was played into that location, right? So, like, I think that there is potential, but it's like you're talking about playing Shauna and Sersi in the same deck. Talking about, like, just RNG rolling. You're just gambling at that point, right? So I don't know, man.
If Shauna didn't work in my newest zoo build, it's like, yeah, I'll stay away from her there. But to your point, like, I also like Pixie, who is like, you're already having the chaos, which I can almost confirm already. It doesn't matter what happens with Pixie shuffling. She's still going to increase their base cost. It's not going to be like, oh, Arnim Zola's a 2 cost. He's going to go to a 3. It would go to a Airshim, I guess, whenever he comes out. But I like the idea of Pixie too, right? Because now you have this way to, take advantage of some of these higher rolls. Maybe Sersi, Sersi at maybe like a 3 cost from a Pixie is awesome. Like, that's crazy value potential there. So I do agree. The Jubilees, the maybe not all the 0 cost, but some of these lower power cards with a bit more higher effect. Great example too, just like Spider-Ham. Get it out of the way. You get the ham out, you can turn it into a 2. Great. Like, that's huge. That's huge upside. Huge upside, right? I also think this is less of a meme than maybe I think. Morph is kind of cool. You play I just noticed I'm not showing some of the cards I'm having on screen for those watching, but Morph is kind of cool too, right? You play Morph down for 3, maybe he turns into a 5, and maybe it's like a bad 5, and then you can make it to a 6, whatever, right? I do agree. I think the power thing, and just looking at effects more than the raw abilities. You don't want to turn a Coal Obsidian into a Dokok, right? Like, it's not going to do much for you. So, overall, a lot of testing here. Not quite as much as something like, let's say, Grandmaster. But speaking of him, I do think that that's a card that's fair to say here that it could go either way. It could go either way. I'm going to choose to be, optimistic here. I think right now this ranking's more of hopeful and prediction. Tomorrow's ranking, when it comes out, will be a lot more level-headed instead of just going off the 5 stars. I'm going to do a lot of testing with it, really make sure we can give our best rating.
There is one 5 cost I just realized that would be really bad to pull. And that's MODOK.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's probably the one. I was just realizing we didn't really talk about it. I don't think we got far enough to talk about MODOKs. We kind of stopped like, oh, these are all good. But MODOK's probably the 1-5 that would ruin you,
which is probably good that there's a couple in there. Let's see. Yeah, so there's like there's 6 per row. There's about 7. So oh my gosh, yeah. There's only like 2 to 3 out of like 35 plus cards that are bad. So you gotta have some bad. If you get MODOK, just sign off Snap on the day. Just be like, you know what? It's that day. It's kind of like when you get MODOK from like X Mansion, and you're just like, oh, okay. So we're not playing the game today. This is how it's gonna go.
Yeah, basically.
Mr. Bin Broad. Well, cool, man. I'm excited to talk about 5 costs in more detail because that's gonna be our next segment. We're gonna be ranking the 5 cost cards from best to worst. Alex, any closing notes on Sersi?
I'm just excited to play her. This is one of those cards you really want to get in your hands and experiment with.
Much needed, like a fun card. Like we need a fun card.
Yeah.
Like with all the Pro X garbage out there, we need a little bit of fun,
And that's the other side, though. It's like, do you really, like, with these fun cards and the way, like, the token system and the spotlight key system works, hopefully, if it's just a fun card, it's like, it's hard to convince someone to spend their resources on a fun card, right? Like, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, it has to be competitive. I think that's the thing that people lean towards. Like, if you have limited resources, you want to be investing in competitive cards, and the fun cards often end up being the ones you skip.
Bro, I had someone come up to me at Dekkster's wedding, okay? And the first thing they said, they're in kind of the industry. The first thing they said was, hey, when you cover Snap, they go, the one thing I don't envy you guys of is having to nail down rankings of a card so quickly because people, no matter what, are going to get mad at you. And I was like,
oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's the worst part about it. Like, because you could have, an insane string of games, right? Like War Machine's a great example. I went 2 days crushing with War Machine. But it sometimes happenstance goes your way, right? I think War Machine, in fact, isn't played enough still. However, it's just a very tough, fast turnaround ranking to do. And Sersi, especially these random cards, are even harder. Because, yeah, we care about y'all's, obviously resources. They're so scarce in the game. And we just try our best to give the accurate rating. Where it's a fun card, I feel better at it because at least you can have a good time playing it, maybe. But if you're all about competitiveness, then yes, really make sure. It's a simple answer. Just wait till later in the week. You gotta wait.
Yeah,
till
you gotta wait till
week.
Sunday at least.
Yeah. Or at the very least, just a few days if you want to get at it. But with that, let's go to rank the 5 cost cards, best to worst. All right, but we did it with a lot more cards last time, but we still have a good amount to go through. Rapid fire mode. We're gonna go through the 5 cost cards in Marvel Snap. Kind of first thing that comes to mind. Now, the last time we did this, we did have disagreements. We do have to settle on a joint ranking. Sometimes maybe it'll go Alex's way. Sometimes my own. We'll have to see. But we'll get the statements out there. I love it because I saw a lot of people clip just the photo at the end. And I'm like, that doesn't tell the story, guys. Doesn't tell the story. But what does tell it is the rapid rankings. We're going to kind of keep it as short and clean as we can. Some cards will be talked about none. Some will be talked about to full extent. And we're going to start in alphabetical order. Abomination. Where do we have A-Bomb?
We're assuming this is like Evo E-Bomb, not necessarily Patriot E-Bomb.
Let's go. We'll go for the ranking so everyone's clear. It's like highest potential, flexibility, overall playability. Just the card as an overall card in Marvel Snap.
I'd lean towards low B. I actually play a lot of this archetype. He's better than you think he is, truthfully.
I disagree. I gotta right off the bat. I feel like he's a C out of all the 5, right? Like in comparison to, if we look at all the, I'm going to make these a bit smaller. As we look at all the 5 cost cards, I don't know. Is he going to be up there with the other Bs? Is the thing I'm worried about. I do agree. I think he's better than people play him as, but is he out of the 5s? He's a B.
I feel listen, you go through a lot of effort to get a 10 power She-Hulk, and you could very easily get like a 1 or 0 power Abomination. I'm telling you. But it's only that one shell. It's talking about high Evo. I would accept high C or low B. So if you want to go high C for now, that's fine.
I agree to your point. My point is usually if you get him down to a 9, you're usually like winning the game because you have so much going for you already. Like the Affliction's already doing its thing. You got the Scorpion on 2 maybe. You got the, Hazmat, and they have no way to recover. We can adjust it potentially, but yeah, for now, we'll leave him there. All right, cool. Cool. Adam Warlock, just quick rapid fire F tier. We've talked enough garbage about the card. Not a good card. Got to rework it. There's no copium. If you're the guy that thinks you figured Adam out, you got to figure yourself out. Arrow. What?
That's the most savage thing I think you've ever said.
Arrow. Let me remove my heart from this conversation. Okay. What do you want?
I mean, if she's better than Abomination, I don't know what's going on anymore.
Ooh. She's more versatile for sure, but is she played more? At the moment, no. I think she's slept on. I will not put her lower than B, but I will ask what you want to put her at.
If you want to go low B, I'll accept it. You put her right at the back there.
Annihilus. I think we could both just pretty firmly say
S tier, yeah, for sure.
Absolute S tier. One of the best cards in the game, and I've already proven they're not touching them. They're touching cards around them. Black Bolt.
Honestly, he's probably a C. I actually like him. He's worse than Abomination. It's sad because you don't play Black Bolt for that effect. Because the way Black Bolt shells often works, you're like hitting rocks and garbage, like usually, right? You're playing Black Bolt because you want to activate your stature.
You're never hitting that Kitty Pride. Yeah, you're never getting like, a lot of cards have like that one, like Arrow, let's say, has like the maybe like a 20% chance of like really good upside. Black Bolt, like you're playing a low stated card. If he was a 5'8", I would bump him up to a B. Like just that one power. If 5'7" is such a low. Think about Sersi's potential. And also a 5'7". Black Bolt is getting rid of one useless card on their side that they probably aren't going to play. Sersi has the potential to like massively win you the game, I guess, or lose it. Now I'm going to stick in alphabetical, but let's just go to stature because they are married to each other, right? They're so close. I definitely like stature way more than Black Bolt, but still probably about a B tier card for me.
Yep, yeah, Stature is definitely better than Black Bolt's. It's also notable that Stature's power was, she got a power point back. Black Bolt used to be a 5'8".
Yep, absolutely. All right, next up we have Black Panther, kind of a card we garbaged on. I mean, it's the card that does one thing great. As much as like we've all had those great Black Panther games, I think I can comfortably say C tier, probably better than Black Bolt in my opinion, but right alongside him.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. Blink. Yeah, dude, I don't think for 5 cost cards, we're both good at S tier.
You know what? I would say high A. Like, I think that like Annihilus is better. I don't know, man. Probably low S. There's going to be better ones, but
let's be strict.
I think because Blink's good because like Jubilee into Blink is good. And you know what? But Annihilus is good because, the Sentry into Annihilus is good. Okay, yeah, Blink's an S tier.
The S tier should be like well played and well meta amongst the rest. I like being strict, but I do think as we place all these, she'll end up in here, like towards the end of it. Annihilus is on another level, but I agree here. Blue Marvel, I'm gonna be honest. I think Blue Marvel is a solid A card.
Yep, I agree. Definitely a solid card. You can't argue that. Used to be a 5'2" buff to a 5'3", and it's been steady ever since.
He's always been around too. Like he's never dipping and never like he's always there, and I think that's because of things like Iron Lad and whatnot. Cannonball. Now I know one of the most annoying cards in the game with a certain other card here. And you know what? Hey, we're going to do it together. We'll have them both up, ready to go. Because let's talk about the most toxic combo in Marvel Snap at the moment. Very tough to rank them independently, but right now it's impossible not to put them both. I honestly, if I was personally do this, I would have Cannonball in A, but I would have Pro X in S.
Pro X that high?
I think so, man. It's been at this point where he is just dominated. He's everywhere. They've tried to tame him. They've tried to do things. He has consistently proven himself as just a lethal card in the game.
But you also see him throw games too, pretty often. Like you do see the other side of it. People aren't doing Deadpool. They're just throwing Pro X out on top of lane. What happened is you have the White Widow as well, which creates that massive early gap in a location. So like White Widow activates Professor X, which then activates the Cannonball, right?
Or Thena, or cards you can build into, or obviously Jeff, and now we have Thanos, War Machine. I feel like Pro X has stood the test of time. If you want to put him in A, this would be my hard disagree, but I'll do it. But I think he'll squeak into S personally.
Why don't we both put them together so like they're together and put them in S? And like I think the combination. I don't think
Okay.
you separate them right now.
Okay,
Put
that's
them
fine.
together like on top of each other, illustrating that we're saying that these two are a package and we're ranking them as a package.
Okay, that's fair. That's fine. I will agree on that. I think like overall usage, I'd have it him lower, but I agree there. That looks clean too. All right, Darkhawk, man. Yeah, I think he's still squeezing A tier for me just because of again the style of deck. I don't have him in S though.
You have him in S. I've been playing a ton of Darkhawk. He was part of my Athena deck, which I designed, which honestly, like I'm not joking. I tweeted if people don't believe me. I ran out like a 78% win rate to infinite with it. There's bots and stuff too, but this card was consistently massive, like massive. It still puts up insane power potential, and I like it as, but high A is like the lowest I would ever consider going.
I'll put him in either, just for the sake of what we have right now, bell curve. I'll put him here, and then if we need to move him up, no problem. I see your stance. I wouldn't have him up there, but I do see your stance, buddy. Devil Dinosaur, would you have solid in A? Or B?
No, I feel he's closer to a B.
I think
he's just not. He's
down.
not performing right now.
Yeah, he's moved down to a B, which is crazy for such a such a staple. Well, it's crazy because he has that power. He has it every time. He has the same.
Yeah, but it's everything else that doesn't do the job. Like with Darkhawk, you're playing Korg, you're playing Rockslide, you're disrupting them. You can even play that in a shell with Kitty Pryde, Angela, and Athena. With Devil Dinosaur, you're playing like Agent 13, Coulson, Nick Fury.
Yeah, the deck,
like,
the deck around it.
Like,
yep, I agree. Dr. Octopus, I think is a tough one, man. It is a tough one because I got played against him a couple times. I get it. He's junk. He does fit into those packages. He punishes combo decks. My God, though, 10 power just doesn't feel like it cuts it anymore for him.
No, he's a C card. He's an F card that can perform like an A card, and then he's an F card that can perform like a C card. He's all over the place. He betrays you so often. He always pulls Shongers as well. I would put him in C, although he is pretty meta relevant right now. Like he's seeing play in like the junk based Professor X Cannonball decks, right?
Yeah, I would have him maybe above Arrow, but yeah, we could put him top of C for now. It's like it just right now. Honestly, what it is yes, he's in junk decks and that's helping him, but also the decks that are out there and what they're doing right now. When you pull out a Mockingbird and a Sasquatch, you just like you're not getting the value trade off at all, like at all there.
Yeah.
He's best in those combo potential builds, but he is annoying. I do see that. Put him there, I guess. Gamora.
Man, it's hard. It's hard. I would say she's a C card. I like Gamora though.
Yeah, so she went up a PowerPoint, but she only goes up 4 now. I do like Gamora. If we look at where she's played and stuff, it's like we can't justify past the C. It's like she does in every stat, she seems like a B. Like if you just look at her power and like, it's really not hard to guess where people are playing now. Like it's just not, or less, but there is that aspect. And then you're watching at a 5-8 with no upside. Yeah, she feels like such a middle of the line card, but I can go there. Gilgamesh, this will spoil your section a tad bit, but initial, you know what? Do you want to save Gilgamesh? Do you want to save him?
Let's save it for a proper discussion.
That's fine. That's fine. Gilgamesh, guys, if you want to listen to Gilgamesh, it'll be on Alex's side. No problem there. Hobgoblin.
I like Hobbers, man. I would accept low A, high B.
Oh
I like him.
Really? Oh, man.
Yeah, why are you getting C ready, Cozy?
Just hobby. I will go B.
Wait, you don't play Ravona?
Yeah, I do. I'll go B maybe. Dude,
Okay,
we have a
give
lot
him a
more
low B.
counters than we did. I'll give him a low B. I'll get him above Arrow in between.
If you put him behind Arrow, he's gonna leave.
No, yeah, well, okay. Maybe that's
He's
the
better than
pick.
Stature 2. You are still drunk.
First of all, no lies detected. Second of all, I don't know. I for now in this meta, yeah, I'll give it to you. All right, Iron Man. Is this an easy S or what?
I love Iron Man. He's an S.
I do too.
like
He hasn't gone anywhere, dude. He's still doing Iron Man things, man. Still doing Iron Man things. Love him. Double power, never bad. Raw power, we love it. Jane Thor, who just got like a PowerPoint because great card now, just for raw power and also has the upside. The combo's so the cubes aren't there for her though. That's the main thing.
One trick pony. I would put her behind Blue Marvel.
Okay. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, Blue's probably gonna be higher up if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does she make A? Maybe she's high B.
I don't think she makes
Jane
A.
Foster.
I don't. Yeah, I'd almost play. I think Devil Dinosaur almost has more potential just because of the cube equity. When you play Jane, guys, I get it. You won. I can congratulate, but you won whatever you went into turn 5 with. Like it, that's it.
Yeah, but that is, of course, if you played the stuff prior that made sense. Did you get the negative? Did
Yep.
you get the Thor? Did you get the Beta Ray Bill? If you didn't get those, they played J on 5. You're like, okay, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Hobby over her, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Paying F tier, no needed discussion. Rework the card. He's dead. Dead card. Alex, you gotta let go. He's
I
dead.
want to say something, but it's okay. He's
Dead.
It's fine.
He's dead. He's dead. Claw, new Claw. Love him.
Yeah, actually, a legit stealer of cubes, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
A is always risky for me. Like, I think he's a high B, but I'll accept
Ooh.
low A.
Low A is kind of where I have him. Like, just looking at the decks where he works, I feel like low A is kind of there. I understand the argument for high B, though, for sure. I do.
Yeah, but now you're seeing the ongoing Spectrum decks making a legitimate comeback. And ironically, even US agents making those decks. So it's like, Claw's in a really good spot.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Lady Deathstrike, man, after the rework, definitely went down a ton. But it's cool. But you know what?
B card. Come on, man.
I would rather, yeah, it's not A at all, dude. I would rather her be lower cost, lower power, but does like maybe 2 power and down. And then you could try to like scope the Athena or scope the, like, it's just tough. It's tough to get her to go. Where do you have her though? Above Arrow, above Stature, or below?
I would put her above Stature and Arrow, yes, under Jane Foster.
Arrow might need to go to C, man. You might need to go to C.
I'll let you have that conversation with her.
I'm working through it.
It's a personal thing.
I'm working through it. We'll see if I get there. All right.
Just don't text her. Just talk to her about it. Like, don't, you know what I mean?
You just like ghost her, like move her down and ghost her.
Yeah.
That's what the kids say.
It's not you, it's me. That's the text you send.
Oh man, I'll just blame you. Blame the friend. Like, oh, it was Alex. All right, Leech.
Oh man, why do you got? No, you go first, Leech. I don't know, man. I don't even know anymore. I think the card's still good, to be honest with you. Like this, when it was 4, it was stupid.
Nobody.
But as a
wants to play
5/5, it's actually playable.
It was an S, and it's now an A. No, I don't care if it's a 5. It's an A. It's hard, man. It's hard.
I think it's closer to high B, like probably, but low A is probably acceptable.
It's not
But
that
you
I
have
don't.
it beside a Darkhawk, Blarvel, Claw right now.
Yeah, it's not like but he's not comparable to Darkhawk. He's on the other side of that. I think, bro, do you want to go against a Leech? A Leech on 5 sucks. It sucks.
Not when
man.
it hits your Darkhawk.
Okay, yeah. Hey, best case scenario, you got ongoing cards in your hand. Like, yes, there are some ongoing finishes right now, but a lot of the higher dex finishes are on reveal, Alex, and you damn well know it. You damn well know it.
Okay. All right, Cozy, I'll give you this one.
Yeah, it's not that I don't see your argument, and I'm open to change at the end of it. Legion.
Man, he used to be S tier. It's funny. They took 1 point off him, and he fell off completely. He has to be in B, and it sucks.
Yeah.
He should be higher, but
They
should give him that point back. Honestly, the game was fun. Give him the point back.
He's one that can probably adjust to the new meta, per se, of like the power meta. We've had so many things kind of like return to that. I agree. I'd probably slot him right here in between.
Yeah.
In between the game. I still like his overall potential more than Jane. MODOK has fallen off a bridge. Gone.
Yeah, completely. Like he's low C in my opinion. I wouldn't put him in F. There's still place for him.
And these guys are in their own. Like those two down there, like to be in their company, you gotta suck, man.
Yeah, MODOK is not Adam, Warlock, and Kang. Like,
you know what? You know what's cool too to look at is like if you played a 4 cost, you played Sersi into that lane, and you got these cards. Where is your happiness level? And so far, I like it. Right? Obviously, Pro X Cannonball is more meta relevant, and Annihilus is so good in his standalone. But Blink, Iron Man, Darkhawk, Blue Marvel, Claw, Leech, all of those, you're happy. You're extremely happy with. Mockingbird is
she's S tier in the deck she's being played in. I'll tell you that right now. But in terms of overall meta, like probably high A, but like she's in so
every
good.
deck now, dude. She's in every deck now. Like there's just like so many token cards in the game.
Yeah, she's good, man. She's really good.
Yeah, it's so funny that you can get a Mockingbird down to 2 costs with 1 Mysterio, and to get Abomination, you need like perfect hand draw and perfect things to happen to get him down.
Abomination catching us straight like 20 minutes later.
Yeah,
so sad.
Namora, man. I'm gonna place Namora in A tier for sure. Probably above Claw, if I'm being honest.
Namora, I can see Namora being higher than Blarvel right now. Like it's so surprising how good this card has been. I think it's my whiff of the month for sure. Like Namora has surprised so much, and it's good, man. I'm happy for it. Anybody that got that card is probably like, you know what, I'm happy. Good on him.
Yeah, that's fine. I might have Blue Marvel over that, but I definitely, she's awesome. I love her. I'm team Namora all the way. Nimrod, Fell off. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Fell off, buddy.
definitely a C card.
When's
yeah.
the last time you're like, oh, I lost to Nimrod?
You're seeing the Nimrod making a lot of the Phoenix Force decks. You're not even seeing Nimrod in like the Shuri Destroyer style list, which I actually like, to be honest with you. I even play Kang in those decks. That's a whole other conversation. But yeah, Nimrod, not really a core part of the meta right now for sure.
I'm gonna have Modok represent the bottom of C. Nimrod will be kind of right there. I'd
Remember
rather
when
play.
Nimrod was a 5/5 at the heyday of Leech?
Oh my
Like
god.
proper Leech,
And we're like,
deletion of
Doctor
everything.
Doom, but all you have to do is destroy it, but then your whole game plans are done. Yeah, I do. Oh, big time. Red Skull.
See, this is one of those ones. It's like, are we evaluating it based on like the Shuri Sauron base combo? Because then it's closer to A, but out and of itself, it's a high C. Like I don't know, man.
I think he's in
This
the
is a
B.
weird one. I'll hand it off to
I
you.
think he's in the B, and I'll probably put him. Do we like him better or worse than Jane?
I like him. He's better than Jane.
Okay. Yeah, and
That's my opinion. He's better than Jane because you can't scoff at that 28 power. He's an archetype builder in Shuri, and Shuri's still like honestly, people don't play Shuri because I think it's just like it's not hot.
A
But
plus
like
B equals
that,
C.
you
Yeah,
you will climb to infinite with that deck. You know what I mean?
I agree. All right, we got Ronan the Accuser. He's gone through a couple buffs. He's had some cards get help as well. But still, end of the day, it's Ronan. He's got to, you're hopeful on him. Do you even have him breaking B? Do we have him above Gamora? That's the take.
I like Ronan better than Gamora. What Ronan's needing is not his fault. He has the power. His support cards are garbage. Like when you think about Darkhawk's support cards versus the Ronan support cards, it's not even close. Like the amount of disruption you can do with Darkhawk, Black Widow, Korg, Rockslide, and then you play, oh look, it's Baron, like what's his name? Mordo? I don't even remember his name because he's so irrelevant. I actually have him. I have the I don't know why I bought a stupid Funko Pop of Baron, but I did. And, like you're just playing bad cards. Master Mold, like it's just he's cringy, unfortunately.
Don't tell Arrow what's happening. But as I look at kind of how these work out here, it's probably going to be something like this. I've moved her down to C. I have Darkhawk and Gamora just a little bit above her. And then I'm going to have Ronan kind of take over that spot where Arrow was. If that works for you.
Yep.
Sandman. Great card.
Yeah, I can see Sandman being in the B tier.
Yeah, B tier's getting stacked, but that makes sense. It's always this way in bell curve lists. Man, I don't even know if I like Death Strike in B tier. I don't know why. I never play against that card these days or with her. But I guess we're just talking like potential, maybe. We'll keep her in there. So where would you have him in here? I would have him damn towards the top, bro. I mean, I think he does his job well.
I think, honestly, he's probably near the top of B right now. People aren't playing him that much, but when you lay him down, that 5/7 power, you feel it. It's a good stat line for his effect, and you honestly have an opportunity to really damage your opponent's play.
Oh my gosh, B is getting messy, folks. Sarah.
This is as A as it gets near S. Like, I think the card is so damn good. It's above Darkhawk. You can make the argument that Mockingbird's more impactful on the meta as a whole. But every single week at the end of the season, we always say, hey, it's Sarah control time. It's like this is a card that refuses to go away. It's even been nerfed. It used to be a 5/5, now it's a 5/4. I would accept low S or high A.
Yeah, I'll probably go high E. Probably at this exact moment, I would go high A. And once she like broke into that Tribunal build, for me, I was like, okay, yeah, she's just a good, like having discount is great. Period. It's fantastic. Love her. She's never going to go away. She's the only one that does what she does. She'll be the most obvious card that gets power crept if that ever happens. And I don't think it will.
And it's notable that Mobius exists, which takes a little bit off her.
Spider-Man 2099.
F?
Yeah, does he belong with these? Probably, dude. It's not like he's doing
He
much.
sucks, man. I played some Copia Move during the Twitch drops because we were trying to just feel something at some point in the middle of the night. And we still felt nothing playing Spider-Man 2099.
I'll just take your word for it. Spider-Woman.
I actually really like Spider-Woman. I think she's cool. But in the world of like, Gilgameshes and stuff that can be a little bit easier to get the proc off, she feels like a high C card in my opinion.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe, does she look good around behind Arrow above A-Bomb?
Yep, I can see that happening.
Yeah,
she'd probably go above Black Bolt, honestly, under A-Bomb, because you play her to activate A-Bomb.
Okay, that's fine. And then, yeah, I guess her potential is what? Well, and what it is the difference between her and, like, Gamora is, like, there's so many more flooded decks these days, the Athena builds, that it's so easy to get her 5/12,
I'm finding it mesmerizing watching you
it's horrible.
shape
It's horrible.
It's like the slow motion. You're hitting like the
You never
arrow
know
keys
how
on the
many cards.
keyboard.
It is. There's never. You never know how many cards we're gonna have in each tier. Taskmaster has always done what he's done, my man. He's like a winner, but then he's also like not in a lot of decks. I would say he's with like Sandman in my eyes.
I think he's the high B, low A. I think he's really good. Very unique
Yeah,
card.
yeah.
I mean, think about how big it can get, right? Like, it's a cool card.
He wins. He'll win you just like when you play Sandman at the right time. You'll win the game. I think it's kind of the same with him. Valkyrie, a card I think we just all continue to love, but just kind of always feels a bit off.
Yeah, Valkyrie's like one of the cards that like you almost never play. I think because the initiative side of it's weird. I really wish they changed Ghost. Like, okay, Ghost keeps getting these power buffs and gets moved around. Make Ghost a legitimate Valkyrie card somehow. Pair them together and let both those cards flourish a little bit. But yeah, she'll definitely be a low B card, I think.
Yeah, have her like I would like that like a little package deal. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Vision, A or S?
High A for sure. I
High
think
A,
Vision's
that's what I was
awesome.
thinking. Namora or below?
I think he is below Nomura,
Yeah, I think I'll go with that too. And
which
I'd
is
have him-
crazy. I can't believe I even said that out loud, but like that's not what I expected to say a month ago when I was looking at Nomura.
Yeah, right, dude. To be compared to Vision. Lastly, White
Yeah.
Tiger, I think always has that cool upside, but it's a C tier card, probably above A-Bomb, maybe Arrow.
I think you're doing White Tiger dirty. Those 8-power
It's
wolves
nice.
are not wolves,
It's
tigers.
nice.
They're pretty legit,
It's
man.
nice,
I
yeah,
can go
but you
B.
don't get to pick where they go and how many decks. She's always the 12th card, in my opinion, most of the time.
I think she's better than Stature in B.
Okay, I don't disagree with it. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'll let you. I'll let you.
Like if I put it in that perspective, Stature versus White Tiger right now, I think you take White Tiger.
And finally, tell me, where would you have Sersi, you think, on this list? You have her as a 3.
Oh man, Sersi. I would see her being between like Hobgoblin Legion.
I thought, okay, 100%, not lying. That's kind of where I was like, that's going to be her kind of floor, in my opinion, is like that random chaos factor. I think that's a smart place to put her.
That's
I
so
do.
crazy that me and you picked the exact same place on
Yeah.
this tier list. And
Maybe
yet
it's Legion.
I'm-
Maybe it's Legion. Like, it's like just like that. That's like, oh, okay, that, like, at the metagame. I mean, but look at the cards above her. Like, they're all like, right. They're just insanely good. All those cards have so much universal use. But then you look at Blink that high and you're like, well, damn, that's wild. Would you adjust, you'd have probably these two above Blink. We're not going to do it by ordering here, but would it go Annihilus than these two? Or those
Probably.
two?
No, I like Blink better. I think
Alright.
Blink's better. Blink will stand the test of time. Cannonball and Professor X are not going to stay like this forever. I can see Blink staying like that forever.
All right, guys. Well, there is our 5-cost tier list. It is not the right list. It is our list. And please let us know what you agree, disagree with down below. Alex, let's talk about the roadmap. Let's go to just talk about the roadmap and talk about our thoughts as a whole. You guys can see these are kind of all the roadmaps with the most recent one cut off that we've had in the past and what's happened and what hasn't happened. Kind of a cool graphic you guys can look at. If you guys are listening, you guys can come back and take a look at this here. But Alex, overall, what is the segment that you've been seeing on the roadmap, and then maybe your personal one? I'll might as well with you.
First of all, can we give a hand to IGN for the absolute clown show that was
my-
trying to watch that stream? I couldn't. I was actually getting mad. I was getting so mad. I'm like, why are we ranking Nintendo characters for 45 minutes? I was supposed to learn about the roadmap already. So yeah, good job on that Mickey Mouse show over there. I don't know what the hell was
Not
going
even
on.
like kind of mad. That was a complete garbage. What in the hell were they doing? They didn't match their schedule at all. It wasn't even like an hour late, dude. They just like picked one here, picked one here. It was so poorly done, and I'm sorry, Second Dinner, for whoever thought that was a good idea, or that maybe IGN's done well in the past, because that was garbage.
Yeah,
And the
absolute
Nintendo
Mickey
list
Mouse
was
show, man.
garbage. They had like the Wii Fit board at number 3 or something. I'm like, what the hell you guys do? They're like, yeah, get Bowser out of here. I'm like, all right, you guys are awful. The fact yeah, anyway, that was so bad. Wasted my day, man. I did like 3 hours just sitting there watching a clown fiesta. Anyway, long story short, and what's even dumber is like if they would have given that to the creators, like we could have done like just a much better presentation. But whatever. At that, and then it got leaked. That's my favorite part at the end of it all, like on Reddit. Yes, really bad opening to it, and then like even more lackluster. And I think that was the overall segment. You had IGN, so you had this buildup, like this was gonna be a big announcement, right? Or
Yeah.
a big roadmap, or a big something. And in a lot of people's eyes, it was not. It was not those things. I think I can easily confident say everyone that I've talked to, most content creators, were underwhelmed with the overall presentation of all of it that happened, with what was presented, with how much was there, with what was removed and the patience level that we got to this point, Alex. And I'll give it to you from there.
I like how you use the word underwhelmed. I was going to consider using the word depression to describe the feeling
That's
that I
fair.
had watching it. I was so just sad. Like not even like not mad. I wasn't mad. I was like when I found out the character mastery stuff was done, like that was like a painful stake in my heart. Like that actually really bothered me. It's not their fault, right? Like I actually believed the idea that they had to cut it because it was technically impossible. I see there's like all these like conspiracy theories out there, like, oh, they're cutting it because they can't make money off it. I'm like, come on, guys, they could have made a ton of money off character mastery. Let's be honest. The idea of like using variants to like progress through a character progression, doing like mini missions for characters, it has literally like monetization all over it. But from like it's the best type of monetization where it's kind of like shrouded in the progression. And I think they would have made a ton of money off it. I actually believe that it was not technically feasible, but it sucks, man. I wish they just figured it out because I was looking forward to that so much, Cozy. That was the feature I wanted. That in the new game mode, and well, we'll talk about that too. But I don't know about you, Cozy, but there was a stake in the heart to see that the character mastery thing wasn't going to be part of it.
It was. I think there's so much happening around it that I was like, damn. And then I was like, focused on other, like, okay. Like, you know, we love this game. We love this game so much. And I tell people all the time, try to level expectations in anything in life because expectations lead to disappointment. If you had no expectations for the roadmap, you're fine. If you had high expectations, you're let down. Right? That to me, the roadmap, I said this in my video. If you had this amazing, you're going to make a dinner, man, and you had the best seasoning of all time. Like, it is the best seasoning, but you don't have a good dish to put it on. How good's the seasoning going to be? And so something like clans to me is an amazing seasoning, but you need the core, you need the core dish, right, to go on top of that. And that is where I want to start. Now, let's go to Deadpool's Diner. That's kind of like the highlight feature, and I think this was where some of the confusion was. Is it a game mode? Is it not a game mode? Is it an event? They said it might come back to other seasons, and then like data mined, it said it's going to be a seasonal thing. It's just unclear. And I'm like, why would you lead with something so unclear? The UI is great. I don't actually want to say so much about this because I don't know. I think this has the potential to be really cool. Every season have this new kind of event to get a card and, you know, just have a fun time doing it. That isn't the ladder. I like that. I like that a lot. And I think it'll fit well into the Snap economy. But like, not even economy, I don't know, Snap ecoverse. But what people wanted. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine like announcing this and not showing even the smallest clip of gameplay? Like I still don't really fully understand what the hell it is. Like you got these bubs, which is another currency in the game, I'll add. That's something that people aren't talking about. Now we got bubs we got to deal with too. And if the game mode's fine, I think what it is, it looks like a redone version of Conquest, except it is essentially just the ranked experience where you're playing someone once, but every time you snap, you raise the stakes with the bubs. That's what I think it is, right?
But then I've heard it's a table and there's like multiple players and then you're like going all in and you're going against like a small little seat. But
There's
then
multiple players now?
I probably not. But like that's the thing. Like that's the
We shouldn't be this confused. Like they should have kind of like shown it.
How like I would do it for free. I would make a bomb ass video for them for free if they just let me. Like I love production. Like allow me. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it has to be me. I could care less about finding out the damn info early. It's not about that. It's like I would love to do an awesome presentation for free, second dinner, for absolute free to showcase, because I'm having to stare not even at a PDF because I don't have that. I have to stare at a screenshot and then enhance zoom like I'm a private detective.
It's so low res, yeah.
It is. It's like it's so crazy at this point. But I think it has. I'm not here to diss the diner thing. I think it's cool. I think it's gonna be cool. I just wish I knew what the hell it was more. And like, I think there's a lot of geniuses out there that think so, but also we don't. We have to see how it's implemented in the game. To me, it's gonna be a season by season thing. And it fits into, like I said, the splash screen, the music. Like it's gonna be a new kind of. You're in the season. This one's Deadpool. The next one's whatever. If they're doing these surveys, what do the people want? This to me strikes as another, like, we want to do this. Maybe not what the community wants, but this is what we want to do. And sometimes that's not the best thing for the game, but we're not developers. It's just, yeah, man. That's the Deadpool Diner in my thought.
In my thoughts, so the major problem is that Deadpool's Diner is not a new game mode. That's not what people thought this
It's
announcement
temporary.
was.
Yeah, it's a temporary thing.
Yeah,
too.
it's an event. It's basically an event, and it might be an awesome event. Like, let's be honest, the gameplay stuff they do is always top notch. That's something they've absolutely nailed in Marvel Snap. The gameplay is so good. That's why we still talk about it. So why we still love it. But that's not the draft mode. I bet you there were a ton of people that were expecting something to the equivalency of a draft mode or an auto battler or something as a legitimate new option as gameplay to be there in this announcement. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. Like, and to see the new game mode draft be announced, that's cool. I'm actually excited for that. But in coming soon,
In the concept.
no way, man.
In the concept section, that's what it was.
That's
like,
what I meant in concept. Yeah.
Yeah, and dude, that's what's so frustrating. Like, I swear, if we see any, like, you know, oh, they went soft on him. It's not even that we're going soft. Like, we're just like, I'm still like absorbing the blow. I saw that roadmap and I hit the road to go to Dekkster's wedding. Like, I haven't even had time to process everything. This is the first time I even like talking about it all. It's the expectation. We love this game. This game has so much momentum. Had so much momentum, being quite frankly. And I think I'm sure the game mode's going to be fun, but the resources are limited. It takes a while to get something out that's been proven at this point. All right. And dev team, at this point, I just feel like the expectation was not met. I do. And the draft mode being, I'll pull up the roadmap again. Draft mode being at least, we can't even say confirmed because of how much they have scratched off the in concept section. I wouldn't think, guys, I'll stand by it. I don't think they'd put draft mode on here and then scrap it. I think they'd know that that would be horrific. I get if you have lost their trust, whatever. I think overall too, the reason we're not seeing as much, in fact, is that they want to make sure they deliver more on the stuff they put on here a bit more. They're going to always have... Devs hate roadmaps, if you don't know it, not with just this game, but all games, because there's things they have to scrap all the time. So they're going to keep this in concept just in case, I don't know. But yeah, man, to not get the game mode and to know that it is at best coming at December, probably in Q4, at best in Q4.
There was not a single person I interacted with over the last several days, and I've interacted with thousands of Marvel Snap players that are like actually happy or positive about any of this. And you have the community sentiment at like the lowest possible point. And this announcement, the idea of a potential new game mode for the summer, you know what are those machines called when they go clear and they go boom and they shock someone back to life? That's what Marvel Snap needs. And this IGN announcement and all this, like the hype was generated. It was them saying, "All right, guys, clear." They held the paddles. And then instead of hitting Marvel Snap and shocking it back to life, they're like, "How do you use these?" And they shock themselves. That's basically what happened, right? Yeah. It's like they fumbled it, man. They fumbled it so hard. And it's heartbreaking because I love this game so much. But I think people are like the community, they're having enough of it, man. It's just like, and you said it the best before. I come back to it. You said it perfectly. Whereas like you have a smaller team, that's fair. You got a limited amount of man hours for like, you know, developing stuff. Where is the development time going? But it keeps going into weird shit that like we don't really want.
Financially, it's, I'm not even exaggerating, like 100x any other card game right now. It is destroying the market. It's not going anywhere, guys. Hate to say it. You can hope it dies. It's not going to die. But the love and the passion is dying for what, you know, for a lot of people. And I think, again, we were like, okay, here we go. What we're about to get. We're going to go up the roller coaster now. And then we didn't get the delivery that we wanted, right? And I want to pull this back up here. I think what hurts is having improved technical performance. I get it. Great job. I'm glad you're making your game. But like to put this on a roadmap, though, is just... I just don't know who's saying yes to this decision. New card mechanic. Also, what? I like at least like I get it. I think they're adding an ongoing or an on reveal, so they're adding like a new thing there. Tease it. Put the name of it. You don't even have to say anything about it. Blank card mechanic. You're like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like putting a little bit more here. I get it's in development. There's a couple questionables there. Alliances, top tier content. Gonna be incredible. However, we need a game, you know, that continues to bring freshness to it. Could be Deadpool's Diner, but you know, I'm not sure there. Leagues, we saw, I think will be better at the end of it all. Again, we're gonna have to see some of these flesh out. Overall, I think we're looking for something to compete with summer. It's hot. It's crazy. We got a lot of great games coming out. Marvel Rivals is kicking off. People would love that. There's other games coming out. We were hoping to kick it off the right way, and I don't know if this landed like the marketing team thought it was going to say the least.
No, of course it didn't. It was a complete disaster, and I mean, I think they need to read the room a little bit better. And at the same time, I feel bad because like if they invested tons of time in character match, it wasn't going to work. That's unfortunate. But like even small things like on that roadmap you showed, card acquisition improvements in concept. What the hell are we doing? Why are those in concept? Like what that should be further up, right? Especially when you're talking about potentially a new player experience. You have the Wolverine Deadpool movie coming. That should be top of mind, how you're going to maximize that launch. You don't get many chances to potentially reinvigorate a game on a launch like that. You have a chance now. That should be way the hell forward, right? And then the other thing is like just where the effort's going to. I don't want to keep coming back to this, but like you talk about like, oh, it's collectible this and that. But like when they released the new borders you can get for the gold, right? 900 gold, pretty damn expensive. How much of a win would it have been to simply have put those borders, at least the 500 gold ones, like those neon ones, in the collector's reserves? Like they've gamified the collection system. Do you know how much of an improvement that would be? Like how much of like a free gift to the community that would be, like just a good in-faith gesture? But instead, they're more fixated on making that a monetizable cosmetic than they are, oh no, don't mind me, I'm gonna pull more pixel avatars from the collection track, and I'm gonna pull more, gold tickets. Why not give me a red neon border at a 5% pull rate, like a variant? Like, it's just, to me, it's like, it's a damn shame because at some point you got to give the community some love back. The people that play this game love it, but it seems like they don't, the second internet doesn't love them sometimes.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, I like what you said there. I obviously agree with the cosmetic things, like just giving a bone to the community every now and then, especially with the revenue graphics that I've seen. It's like, hey, you're doing well. You're doing well. I don't think it's going to hurt to throw things that way. I think if you don't love Snap, guys, step away. You don't need to go to Reddit. You don't need to blow it's like, you're wasting your freaking life, guys, with the hate built behind it. The passion, though, is different. Having passion for something that you want great is different. And I encourage us to speak up on it. Like, I think the dev team is not silly enough to think Alex and I over here just dumping on their whole roadmap. I think they know we care. They know we care. And I can speak for 5 other content creators that I won't list out because it's their to say, but they're the biggest ones there. Disappointed. Like it's not just the two of us here. It's pretty massive, and I think it has to do with the game mode. This whole roadmap could have been dump, and if they had draft mode coming up in 2 weeks or July 30th draft mode, we'd be like, oh, okay, all right, we got something coming out. We know it's gonna be a hit. I don't know about the diner. Could be the best thing in the world. Could be amazing. I just don't know about it. I don't know enough about it. So you also didn't deliver on the communication front for it, and I think that's also what's frustrating. Again, I did marketing a lot of my life, and it's like I just love, and I know they have talent over there. They're talented people. I just dismissed the mark in that department. So yeah, it's not that we don't have a lot of great things to say. We just don't know what to say because we don't know about the diner. The alliances, from what I did see from the screen grabs, looks dope. I will say that it looks dope, looks really good. And the draft mode, my hope is it's a concept that doesn't need a lot. You don't need to always reinvent the wheel. Sometimes pizza's just good. Don't try to make pizza something else. Don't make. I think sushi pizza went okay in like a restaurant, but you don't need to do something crazy every time. Make a solid draft mode. Don't spend in 10 months making a snap draft mode. Make it feel something like just make it great, make it good, make it what it already is. So overall, 1 through 10, Alex, roadmap.
Feels like a 1.
I'm not gonna give it a 1, man. I don't know. My expectations were maybe more I don't know. The people are gonna give it a 1, and that's fine. I'm being realistically, bro. A 1 would be they got nothing, man. Like they got absolute nothing on there. I'll give it like as I say my whole speech, I'll give it like a 3.
Yes. Yeah, come on, Alex, you're being too hard. I said it half as a joke. It is probably closer to a 3. Like, let's be honest. I did not want to give this a 3. I wanted to be so hyped, man. It was supposed to be so exciting, dude. This was supposed to be a 10 out of 10.
You know what it is, too? It's not even that it's a new game mode we're giving a 3. It's that we're giving a future roadmap. I think that's what's hitting the hardest. It's like, we're not, like, temporarily sad. Like, unless they do an updated one, which they might respond with that. I mean, I don't know. But, like, and we've seen, like, say what you will. In fact, like, get out of here. Like, this team does fix their mistakes. Like, when they realize it. Like, the Gambit issue happened, they fixed it. They're fast on their feet here. I don't love the ask for forgiveness later method always, right? But if they realize that this didn't land, get some communication out there and say, you know what, we're gonna rethink maybe some of this, or like work the weekend, man, and get a Deadpool diner showcase out there for the community of some sort. In fact, maybe I'll hit them up after this. See, I don't know, who knows. Anyway, that's our thoughts on the roadmap. And again, you guys can see the graphic here. To what many are saying, they've delivered on almost everything here. If you look at it, there's X's on like selectable card effects. That's there. I don't know why that's an X there. Whoever made this. But for the most part, the one that I was sad to see, Alex, was the new game boards up there. They scrapped that. Bummer. Like Ultimate Variant Evolution, I could care less. I bought all the Ultimates and I still don't give a like. Great, work on something. I do not need that to be on the priority list. New game boards would have been cool. Like, what are we doing? Why is that out? That sucks.
Yeah, definitely. New game boards, it seems like would have been an easy win as well. Also, perfect to add in like the battle pass, or even like you could sell that. Like it's weird that they didn't do that. One thing I want to mention quick before we call it is on the character master. You kind of bring it up with like the collection of variants and stuff like that. The one sad thing about the character master was that I think it might have influenced some people's purchasing decisions around variants and stuff like that. Like as an example, I'm someone who loves She-Hulk. And when they had a kind of that Newverse website collection, like that you spend certain money, you get certain rewards type thing. She-Hulk was in there for like 150 American dollars for a month or something like that. I actually made sure that I got that because I wanted to have it for the character mastery. And then now it's just gone. And it's like, okay, well, I still have the She-Hulk variant that I'll never use, but I guess whatever, right? So I think people might have been buying variants in anticipation of the character mastery, and that kind of sucks.
Well, Alex, I mean, at least you're going to get first edition badges, you know?
Oh my god. Cozy, why'd you have to do that? I almost forgot those existed for a sec. Now I'm even in more pain than before. Why would you do this to me?
They should just put coming soon. Just put coming soon and leave it there forever. Just always
no,
in
they
that
should just
section.
put another kind of column. It just says not FU and just put
second edition badges. All right, guys. On that note, we're gonna be talking over to Alex's side with Gilgamesh, Athena, final verdict, top tips to climb ranks in Marvel Snap up to Infinite or beyond, and then of course the Snapchat mailbag. You guys have a good one. Have a great one. Happy Monday. It's a late one, and until the next one, happy snapping.